On this episode of Waifus Weekly, we have Goblins. Goblins are understandably one of the more terrifying creatures in the world of Goblin Slayer, and even in Lord of the Rings, the term goblins and orcs have been used interchangeably depending on who's using them. But that's just two of many universes. And in many games, they seem to be seen as thieves who steals loot and thus are called the moniker Loot Goblin. But until recently, with the exception of Goblin Slayer and similar media, goblins have been on the rise with plenty of people and most importantly, artists showing their interests in goblins, and especially goblin waifus. Artists like Battle Buddy and his several comics about such as Goblin Onaholes, the work of Karo showing his Goblin Legion, or this doujinshi called Goblin Treasure, a story about a captured goblin who turned into a Stockholm Syndrome victim. But surely there are some of you who are still burnt by loot goblins and Goblin Slayer, so why would you even think about dating a goblin waifu? Well, that's what I'm here to discuss today. To join me on this expedition on why you'd want a goblin waifu, we have today the adorable, durable, and clearly portable Goblin Queen herself, Nazi. Would you like to introduce yourself to the crowd?
I am Nazi. I am constitutional monarch of a cave somewhere.
the queen of that goblin place that's basically just, well, what she said, constitutional monarchy, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That is the lore. Because I'm very lazy and I don't like doing the government thing.
That's fair. That's fair.
Give one guy a prime ministership and all of a sudden it just goes by itself. You're like, alright.
I mean, if it works, right?
I hate to see the other Goblin Queen's kingdoms if all they do is stream all day.
That's a fair point.
No,
that is a very fair point.
Economics.
They don't care about the progression of the economy. Their entire economy just run around streaming.
What are they gonna do about their GHS, the Goblin healthcare system?
Nice, real nice.
I think we've already derailed, so that's my job for the day.
Don't worry, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with my videos. They're just constantly chaotic.
I guess when you have a sentient bonfire as the host, I guess that happens.
Yeah, that happens all the time. So, starting off, in your opinion, what is the cause of the influx of goblin love? Like, what do you see happen? Why do we see more goblins in, well, social media? Like, more goblins are starting streaming now, from VTubers to some animes. What do you think this is?
Let's be honest. I feel like you pigskins have finally awakened to the fact that ears are trash. I think that's part of it.
Okay, that's fair.
Am I allowed to say ears on that show? Is that gonna get bleeped?
Yeah,
I mean, I think that
that's
might
fair.
be. I think that might be part of it. I mean, like, we've been in the caves for a long time. You know, like adventurers come into the caves, you know, kill a few goblins, steal our riches, leave. And I feel like part of it is a lot of us are starting to stream because, I mean, let's be honest, the average rate of adventurers are actually able to, you know, go fit in the caves. It's going down. But also, like, we kind of don't want you guys coming in the caves and killing us. Kind of bad.
Well, no one wants that. Well, except Goblin Slayer, I suppose.
So hitting the social media. Hitting the social media is usually a good way to bridge it. But, and I think the other way around, I feel like people are finally starting to wake up to the superior, more portable waifu choice. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we have discussed on why goblins are great in terms of portability, as shown by Battle Buddy's illustrations, I should say.
Ah, yes. Ah, yes, the Goblin carrier. Yeah, no, that is. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. A complete
It's
pink
well,
skin alchemist, artificers. Very comfortable. I can speak from personal opinion, personal experience.
so you have used one of these devices before.
Yep. Yeah, it was weird, but I'm also very comfortable. Very easy to nap in as well.
I think that's the reason why they probably might be more. What's the word for this? Popular? Perhaps every goblin might need one, especially if they plan on intermingling with other species.
I mean, when you
What do you
think
reckon?
about it, we're portable. We fit in the average backpack. I mean, can't
Yeah.
close the lid. Can't close the lid, you know, because we're ever so slightly too big. But hey, but the carrier is definitely the better option for the comfort of your goblin.
The optimal solution, we should say.
Optimal solution. But hey, if you love your goblin waifu and she loves you, then hey, I'm sure that whatever you can put together, she'll be fine with.
Definitely, that definitely works. So, for the next question, why do you think someone should date a goblin? Like from a lifestyle standpoint.
Right? I mean, I can really only speak from the areas directly around my king, right? But
Yeah,
like around
that's
me,
fair.
we got dwarves, we got elves, we got humans, we got like the full range of pink skins, halflings and gnomes. And what I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna assume the majority of your audience is of the human variety of pink skin.
Oh yes, most definitely, they are humans.
Yeah, you guys live like what, like 80 years tops, maybe 100 at a pinch.
100 if they have some kind of magical augmentation or well cybernetic.
Yeah, let's be honest. Y'all ain't getting with your own species. That's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. And if you manage to get one of the others, I mean, look, if you look at an elf, right? They're snooty,
Yes.
high maintenance. Like the only erogenous zone they have is their ears, which is just kind of weird. And they
Fair
live like
enough.
1,000 years. You're a fling to them. You're nothing. Dwarf. I mean, they never let go of grudges. You leave the toilet seat up one time, that's going in the book. Like come on, that's just a minefield waiting to happen. Like
That's
halflings
fair.
and gnomes. I mean, I hope you enjoy weekly checks from CPS.
Why you say that?
I mean gnomes especially. Halflings not so much, but gnomes. You walk down the street, like they're shopping at the child section of Kohl's. People gonna ask questions.
Okay, that's fair. I can't deny that. They do look a bit
Like
childlike.
halflings less so, but still. Also, they eat a lot. They eat a lot more than we do. But you go with a goblin now, like the average goblin lifespan is 60 to 80 years anyway. So,
Oh, so
we
it's-
match up pretty well.
Yeah, comparable to humans. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we're portable. We mostly eat meat, which is more or less what humans eat. So you don't got to worry about eating gravel or whatever the dwarves do, or going all vegan like an elf.
Sure. Yeah, that
it works.
makes sense.
It all works out, and things line up very well. And honestly, all we really want is to be carried around, so we don't have to tire our legs out, and maybe a scratch behind the ears every now and again.
Well, that seems like a very compelling argument comparing this to the other species discussed in previous Waifu Weekly episodes.
Yeah, believe it or not, we share an evolutionary branch with catgirls. So scritches behind the ears, all that, absolute perfect. And we don't smell like catgirls either. So even if you're into catgirls, we got you covered there.
I suppose that makes sense considering how there are plenty of humans that are allergic to cat fur. That makes lots of sense.
Yeah, it's like a combination between a cat and a raccoon. Put that together, you get a goblin.
That's fair. There are some people who are into that, I reckon. Still, how would in the previous episode we had Izzy on the show, and we did actually discuss the difference between, the why do you want to date an orc girl? At that point, I actually noticed and discovered that in Lord of the Rings lore, goblins and orcs are one and the same. It's just they're used by different races. So, what do you think makes what would you say is the that what makes you better than an orc besides what we've already stated wherein you are well a lot smaller, but from what we've noticed there are plenty of shared personality traits in terms of how you act generally, but this can change from cave to cave, as some goblin caves would be more barbaric in some sense, while others would be more civilized, such as what I'm assuming is your constitutional monarchy. So the crux of this is that what is the how do I say this without sounding very lewd? What are the mating habits of goblins that would probably benefit humans?
Well, goblins are very adaptable as far as mating habits go. And it depends on where you are. So I'm a cave goblin.
Yeah.
But I've got friends forever. I know some sewer goblins, some city goblins, and some swamp goblins. Cave goblins, we're pretty adaptable. You know, we kind of do what, we live in a cave. We gotta do what we gotta do, right?
Sure, yeah.
Traditionally, for like, if you want to propose to your goblin girlfriend correctly, you want to get yourself a nice big piece of wood, which is very rare down here, right? No trees, and you want to fashion that into a really nicely made club. We call it the blunt object of love. Now you just give a little love tap. Now, traditionally, it's enough to go unconscious, but nowadays, like, a little love tap is, accepted. And it can come either way. So if your girlfriend comes at you with a club, she might not be trying to kill you. That is something that does actually come up a lot among traditional cave goblin society, interracial marriages. Swamp goblins, yeah, they fashion rope and do more or less the same thing. I don't know about sewer
more on
goblins
a
or
capture
city
sense,
goblins,
right?
Though.
More on a capture sense, like they capture with rope, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so like we use wood and clubs because we don't have access to trees. In the swamps, they use ropes because they don't really have access to the fibrous material usually. I don't know what about I guess maybe in the city they just use tasers. I don't know. You'd have to ask my friend Rick for that. But yeah, so traditionally, if you want to get with a goblin girl, and you want it to be a more traditional, appeal to her culture,
yeah,
then you got to figure out what flavor of goblin she is. But I mean, if you really care about her, you'd know that by now.
That's a very good point. It also probably should matter to the audience that just because you find a goblin in the city does not mean that they are a city goblin. They could also have some more traditional sense, like they could be historically a more traditional cave goblin. So even in that case, you might want to have to give her something similar to a club, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Maybe a baton.
Okay, so I did actually I DM'd a few of my city goblin and sewer goblin friends.
Yeah.
The sewer goblin says, "Just take her out of the fucking sewer." That's a quote. And the city goblin says that she prefers handcuffs, but she'd settle for a taser.
Well, I suppose the human in question would probably also prefer the handcuffs.
Yeah. Bear in mind, she's kind of a freak, so I think the handcuffs are the traditional for them. I think she's just a freak.
That make a lot of sense. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
Well, that definitely raised some eyebrows for me and the viewers of this episode.
We're a very malleable species.
So, Well, I should have
I
probably
mean
asked
that
this.
every single way. So you Goliath listeners out there, your chances aren't shot.
Well, I suppose it will also be beneficial to some of the shorter ones in the audience who are a bit insecure with their height. Those who are like shorties, like for example me, I'm like 5'4". I'm traditionally shorter than most of my species, and well, humans. Most humans aren't. Wait, sorry, that came out wrong. There are plenty of humans that are short on average, as any species does, but goblins can compensate for that as they are generally shorter.
I'm actually relatively short for a cave goblin.
Oh,
Like I'm actually like round about the bottom of the average. Cave goblins, we actually go up to about 4'3". There are a few goblins that are, I believe, desert goblins. If I remember correctly, my friend Red, he is about 2 feet tall. He's a desert goblin. So if you are a manlet, if you're a short king, you might want to start looking in the desert.
that feels. Well, I'm surely there are plenty of desert dwellers in the watching the video right now, so that could be their.
Hey, I'm not gonna say anything about like anyone's height or anyone's preferences, because like I said, like I know a girl, she's dating a gnome, and because they're both short, like CPS doesn't get on them. So hey, it works out for them. If she likes them short, she likes them short. I know another girl dating a Goliath. Like I said, very malleable.
Oh, okay, that's actually really great. It shows on how adaptable the goblins are, not just from a environmental standpoint, but also from a more romantic standpoint. Is that correct? A partnership standpoint, I suppose. So, lastly, what would you like to add to this conversation that would help convince humans to consider a goblin waifu over other species like orcs, elves, etc.?
Well, what I'll say first and foremost is that you wanna come at it right. You wanna treat her like a queen. She cares about the size of your heart. Or he, I'm not gonna judge, people go any other way. I'm just assuming your audience is mostly straight men. Which,
Yeah.
she doesn't, she doesn't care about the size of your wallet, she cares about the size of your heart. The size of your wallet might help.
That makes sense, yeah.
I mean, hey, humans have been stealing gold from us for the last, like, several centuries. Like, you know, my grandma got taken out by an orc barbarian, just fucking took out the entire royal treasury. So we enslaved his family and ate them. But, you know, tomato.
Okay, that's fair. I suppose that is fair. It is, justice? I'll consider it justice.
I will point out most goblins have outlawed slavery, and that is an old thing.
Wait. The way you say most. Actually, you know what? We're gonna open a can of worms for this episode.
I can't speak for every other cave, bro. I can't speak for. I don't know about my cave.
That's fair. I get it. We'll open that can of worms in a possible future episode.
Just stay away from like any goblin cave that's like near a passage to the drow part of the Underdark. Stay away from that because they probably do. Have you had a drow on the show yet? I don't know what's going on with them. They cut off contact with our cave centuries ago.
You're talking about Dark Elves, right?
Yeah, Dark Elves. Yeah, fucking.
We actually have not had an elf in the episode on the series yet. I should probably get on that.
Oh boy.
Well, it'd be interesting to have a back-to-back episode, but you know, we'll see what happens with the future episodes. But until then, is there anything else you'd like to add for the viewers? Some final words that you wanted to speak to the audience?
I would like to say, Goblin Slayer is a wonderful piece of media, but it is all elven propaganda. Don't believe a word.
Okay, I think that's an amazing line to end on. So, do you have anyone you want to shout out for the viewers to see? Well, besides yourself, of course, which will be in the description below for all the viewers who likes to see Nazi's work on Twitch and on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes, come to me. Yes, if you want more goblins, my friend
Well,
Claire Gothwood she streams a lot. My friend Tiny, who I believe is a desert goblin. I'm not sure really. She works in a bar.
okay.
And if you want to look at a dark elf that doesn't do slavery, probably, then Malakanje is one. If you want to broaden your horizons a little bit. But
Okay.
yeah, goblins are good. Follow the green horde. Goblins together strong.
Okay then. Well, all of their links will be in the description below. And thank you for coming onto the show, Nazi. We'll continue on with the video.
Hell yeah.
So as you can see, goblins are some of the adorable little munchkins who are adorable as they are portable. Basically, a pocket waifu.